Welcome to Spybrary, by spy fans, for spy fans, with Shane Whaley. Shane dives into the mystery and intrigue of spy books and movies, both fact and fiction, delivering reviews and interviews with authors, historians, intelligence experts, and spy fans. He discusses everything from John le Carré, Len Dayton, Ian Fleming, Tom Clancy, Brad Thor, and many more. If you love spy books and movies, keep listening. This podcast is for you. This is Spybrary.
It's a brush pass, quick and simple.
You are listening to Brush Pass on Spybrary. Quick reviews sent in by spy fans for spy fans.
Hi Spybrarians, Andy Onyx here with my Brush Pass review of The Human Factor by Graham Greene. Between 1929 and his passing in 1991, Greene wrote 24 novels, as well as travelogues, plays, essays and 3 volumes of autobiography. He was a successful writer/editor by the time of the Second World War, and due to his experience of Africa and journalistic skills, he was recruited into the Secret Intelligence Service by his sister and was posted to Sierra Leone under the supervision of one Kim Philby, with whom he maintained a close friendship right to the bitter end, much to the consternation of his former colleague and fellow author John le Carré. At the end of hostilities, Graham Greene resumed his literary career, which went on to include the espionage novels Our Man in Havana, The Third Man, and The Confidential Agent. His last visit to the genre was with The Human Factor in 1978. There's a small cast of characters, some ambiguous, such as the troubled new security officer Daintree, brought in to investigate a leak from Section D, and the service chief, Sir John Hargreaves. But some crawl with malevolence, such as C's Confidant and Angel of Death, the immoral Dr. Percival, as well as the repellent Cornelius Muller from South African intelligence. Our protagonist is Maurice Castle, a desk-bound Africa specialist nearing retirement after 30 years in the service. The Human Factor occupies the similar time zone to Tinker Tailor, the beige-tied 1970s Britain, where Maurice Castle commutes daily from Berkhamsted to his SIS office in London. Castle's section of responsibility is Zaire, which he shares with another officer, Davis, a hedonistic bachelor who dreams of domestic bliss with their unattainable secretary, Cynthia. But a decade earlier, Castle was an SIS field officer in South Africa, where in the midst of his espionage activities under journalistic cover, he fell in love with his African agent, Sarah, thus breaking the apartheid race laws and putting him on a collision course with security boss Cornelius Muller. With the help of a communist agent, they escaped to marry and returned to Britain with Sarah's newborn son, of whom he is not the father. But the SIS is now part of a joint intelligence initiative, along with the South African Intelligence Service and the CIA, an operation cringingly codenamed Uncle Remus, which brings Castle and his nemesis Muller face to face again. The explosive ingredients of a typical spy thriller are absent from The Human Factor, but Greene references the fantasy aspect of Bond several times throughout the novel, contrasting the realistic clerical banality of Maurice Castle's existence against the child's eye perspective of his young stepson, where gadget pens double as poisonous gas guns, ominous due to Castle's proximity to the murderous Dr. Percival, who is peddling marked fiver disinformation about nastiness involving Porton Down. At one point, Daintree, the security officer, finds himself on the edge of a drunken conversation in the ultra-exclusive gentlemen's club White's, where Ian Fleming's novels are dismissed for, you guessed it, their kiss-kiss bang-bang nature. In place of extrajudicial slap and tickle, The Human Factor presents moral dilemma, debts of conscience, betrayal, loyalty, deception, and a crisis of faith. One character questions the difficulty of choosing an ideological side in the era's Cold War, as opposed to fighting the stark evil of the Nazis. This is actually my second Graham Greene following England Made Me, and again it's strangely formatted in 6 parts, each with its own chapters. But if Le Carré's best bits float your boat, then I'd highly recommend it. So ends my review of The Human Factor by Graham Greene. Find me on Twitter at AndyOnyx1, my website andyonyx.co.uk, Spy-Fi and Modernism, and I'm also the author of Dadless if you fancy a go on that. But do stay safe, and until next time, Onyx out.
Can you pull off a brush pass? Send in your review to shane@spybrary.com.
Thanks for listening to the Spybrary podcast. You don't have to wait for the next episode. Join the conversation happening now at facebook.com/Spybrary and on Twitter @Spybrary.